apologies. My apologies. I didn't jump my storage, so I have to come back in again right now. Okay, so basically what it was, we were at leaving Earth. We're going to be entering into that of air and fire. Okay, so basically Earth and water is separated. Now, what as I was talking about even last week, being like flying monkeys. This week, flying serpents, even to that of dragons, flying dragons. Talked about Anu. Talked about what's his name? Dang, I can't remember space on his name right now. Anyway, he had the video. It'll come back to me. The video of everything with Anu, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the thumbnail to it. Like I said, they took the video down. And so, basically, what we're witnessing right now is because of the 4 retrograde periods that we're in right now, and we got Saturn, Stern, Chiron. These are some cold planets there. Okay, Chiron again goes between Uranus, the rings of Uranus, and that of Saturn. And okay, so it's really some standoff kind of chilly stuff. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, a few of you put up even like Capricorn, even with the serpent. A few of you put up with that with the serpent right now too. Okay, and so it's in sync. So what I'm going back to right now is going back down to that 6 and everything. Where even we're going from the greater keys, like so to speak, to Solomon, to the lesser keys, or even mundane astrology, which you're talking about here with Earth and so forth, and what the conflicts are, whether it be inside of your personal life or within the world. And it was just a simple thing right here. I kid you not. It explains everything, and that is a song. The man who sung and everything, or the boy who sung the song. Okay, song conflict. It's conflict. It's the I Ching, right? Now check it out. What it says. All right. First of all, the trigrams on it is that of Sun, which is the first daughter. The first daughter, wind, and so forth. Okay, and then that consisting also of Li, the clinging fire. So remember, we're going into air and fire right now. All right. So it hits already on that. Just the trigram. So the ruler of the hexagram is 9 in the 5th place, and all the other lines represent persons quarreling. And the 9 in the 5th place stands for the person who overhears the quarrel. So everybody's overhearing a lot of people, a lot of flying monkeys, a lot of from last week, 4th of July. It said whether that was celebrated or if you looked at it the way I looked at it, being that this is exactly the same day in which Nikola Tesla wanted to go ahead and give us free energy back in 1917. And the big wigs went ahead, JD, we said, no, we're going to have a monopoly, we're going to use petrol. And so in 1917, this is where they took down the tower, okay? So they can go ahead and make the monopoly and all of this shit, right? So peep game, we're moving down, and we're still talking about this conflict, right? So we're going into the commentary. It's straight. You don't even have to diverge from it. You don't have to think about it, because just listen for a second. So the commentary on the decision furthers one to see the great man, thus his central and correct position is honored. Okay, so the sequence. Over meat, and this is the serious part of it. Over meat and drink, there's certain to be conflict. Now, whether you're eating fucking people or whatever the fuck, or you're talking, just simple food and water, everybody, with the people eating people, you got to feed up to the person who's actually leading you within your squares. So, that's just the way it goes there. Or if you're at a job, same regular job, it's the same thing. You got to go ahead and make sure your manager is happy and all that type of stuff. So, in a general sense, that's basically the same thing. So, but then it goes into the conflict. Conflict means not to love. Right? So the judgment on this conflict, you are sincere and are being obstructed. The cautious halt halfway brings good fortune. Going through to the end brings misfortune. It furthers one to see the great man. It does not further one to cross the great water. So basically it's like telling everybody to slow it down. Don't be in such a rush to grow up to be a big tree or money, or, muscle. Because if you go ahead and take it slower, you're going to get a thicker base. When it does get heavy, okay, the winds do blow, and we're getting ready to have wind and fire. We're here. When the winds and fire blow, your foundation will be fucking set because you took your time and you built it slowly. Okay? So therefore, the commentary on the decision says, conflict, love is above and danger is below. Danger and strength produce conflict. The contender is sincere and being obstructed. Sincere and being obstructed. Do you know anybody that's like that? That's sincere and being obstructed? I think I know somebody. And I'm not the only one. So the firm comes and attains the middle. Going through to the end brings misfortune. So those of us who are able to go ahead and calm ourselves in thought and become firm in what we do know, and don't be swayed because of somebody else's mission, or somebody else's, the conflict, or somebody else's projection onto you. Don't be swayed with that bullshit. What you have to do. Okay? So it says a conflict must not be allowed to become permanent. So it's still giving chances right now. Remember, the Kali Yuga just ended in fucking March. Right now, tomorrow, we enter into Cancer's moon. Cancer moon with Jupiter. So, like I said, with Uranus being either in Uranus in the literal sense of if you don't move Uranus, then your anus is going to be fucking moved or dead, one of the two. Simple as that. Because it is just that time right now. In the greater astrological sense and in the mundane cosmic sense. And we're seeing this shit. So it furthers one to see the great man. Thus, the central and correct position is honor. It does not further one to cross the great water, for it would lead one into the abyss. Its name of the hexagram is conflict. It is derived from the attributes of the two trigram, Hien, which is strength, and Khan, which is danger. Khan is a serpent also. We were talking about that earlier. Okay, then they got Khan, they got the hyphen in it, or the apostrophe, but it's a serpent. Khan is a fucking serpent. Right? And so the strength is above and clinging below. Conflict is sure to arise. Similarly, a person who is inwardly cunning, and we're supposed to be cunning, meaning wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove, but then not all doves. You gotta watch them doves. Right? Cunning and outwardly strong inclines to a conflict with others. The contender, the second line, is sincere and feels himself obstructed. He is in the inner trigram, therefore it is Saeed, not just said, but Saeed. Okay? That's where you're gonna go to your Swahili. You better be up on that shit. Okay? Or either just the Arabia, you know who Saeed is. comes because the line is strong and occupies the center. It suggests sincerity, and for it makes the middle sound. And it's obstruction because it is enclosed between the two yin lines. Okay, so the two yin lines, we know the yin lines are surrounding them, so yin is dark nature, surrounding that of the central position, man. So we got, that's the conflict right there. Especially if we have not worked through that, our yin side, is the conflict. All right? So the great man is central of the in between the two yin. Okay? And correct line in the fifth place. So the judge who must render the decision abides outside the dangerous situation. He can render a just decision only by remaining impartial, or she can render a decision by abiding outside of the dangerous situation. He can render a just decision only by remaining impartial, not getting paid up under the table, like it is. He can. So the abyss into which one would fall by crossing the great water is indicated by the trigram Ka'an, which is danger. So that this serpent right here is danger. Danger. Crossing the great water suggested by the fact that the nuclear trigram Sun, which is the first daughter, which is wind or wood, all right, is over the lower primary trigram Ka'an, which is the water. Structurally, the hexagram is the inverse of the preceding one, hence we have conflict here. Okay? Forbearance there, although the time meaning of the hexagram is that of conflict, it nevertheless teaches every turn that conflict should be avoided. And people are just going at it right now. People are going at it, but what it is not. Is actually within each other. It's not just, they don't want to go down, they don't want even the face to fall down, whatever they just set up, for everybody to say, hey, this is how I look, this is me. And they find out this fucking bullshit. So they're melting. Oh, I'm melting! Like a fucking wicked witch, throw some water on her, she fucking melted, right? So that's what's happening. Right? So this image here says, so the heaven is water. Heaven and water go their opposite ways, just like we just got finished saying from the get-go. We're moving into what? Air and fire. So if heaven and water go their opposite ways, and that's the image. So this is the image of conflict. If we don't have any water, what happens? You get thirsty, you get irritated, your fucking body gets irritated, right? Let's start with the self first. We're not even talking about fire breathing dragon and none of that shit. But if you're deficient, if you're yin and yang is not good on the inside, not properly watered, not properly nourished, then that's what's going to come out. Or if you're going through some things that you put off and everything, then it's going to affect your body and it's going to affect your mood. Whether or not you can professionally get up there and act like it's fucking nothing going on, we're going to see the fucking bullshit. So it starts on the inside out, inside first. Just like in the scriptures, they started building where? They built the most holy of holies first. The oracle, which is the word, or the speaker, the actual speaker itself first. And then the house was built. So you have to go inside first. So, thus, all his transactions, the superior man carefully considers the beginning. And that's what we're talking about right now. What are we talking about? We're talking about the end of the fucking Kali Yuga. We're talking about the end, the beginning. This is just the beginning of the woes. This is the revelation of Genesis. Okay? The Genesis of Revelation. The beginning of Revelation. This is the revelation of Genesis and the Genesis of the Revelation. So we're at the beginning. It's even written, he tells you all things of the before it happens, so that you'll see that it's, and really, to tell you the truth, all of this is already fucking happening. All of this has already happened. So the movement of the upper trigram of heaven goes upward. That the lower, the water goes downward. And thus the two draw the two draw further and further apart, and they create conflict. To avoid conflict, all transactions, the nuclear trigram sun, which is feminine, you see, again, we're over here, and I'm Erica, we denoted as the sun in the masculine. In Deutschland, it's die Sonne, it's feminine. Same thing, flip-flop with the moon and everything, too. That's the reason why the yin-yang has both that of the two dots in the middle, too, because you'll see the four parts that interplay within that, all right? So it's a circle within a circle, and if you don't sit on your bed and go within those circles, then you're going to be out of sync. You're not going to have out of nourishment. You're going to be out of nourishment, all right? And so we're at here. So the movement again goes upward, the lower water goes downward, and thus the two draw further and further apart, and they create conflict. To avoid conflict, all transactions, nuclear trigram sun, which means work and undertaking must be well considered at the beginning. Ka'an, meaning the serpent again, means being concerned. And the nuclear trigram Li, which is the clinging fire, this is the fire we talk about, so we gotta, it's gonna happen right now, because you do have to go ahead and burn all those negative shit away, just like this out here is gonna burn. This world is gonna fucking burn. So if you don't go ahead and get yourself, and you create that fire, you have that fire with you. If you don't burn that shit up out of you, hey, it's just gonna reflect out. It's gonna reflect out. So, and Li in this case also means clarity. All right. So Hien at the beginning. Hien is at the beginning of all things. Just like I was saying, this is the Genesis of Revelation and the Revelation of Genesis. So with the lines and everything, the 6 lines, again, the same six lines is what creates the Star of Remphan, which is, we call it the Jewish Star, or the Star of David. You know what I'm saying? So basically it goes again like so. It says, so the 6 at the beginning, we'll hit them right now. It says, if one does not perpetuate the affair, there's little gossip. So if you don't want to be a gossiping ass little bitch or a motherfucking dude, then that's what connects, that's what starts little bullshit. Okay? In the end, if we do not perpetuate these affairs or a little gossip, in the end, good fortune. Not perpetuating the affair, one must not prolong the conflict. So basically, with these 4 things we're in right now, again, that of Uranus, that of Saturn, that of Neptune, that of Chiron, and that of Neptune, Chiron, Saturn. I'm missing one right now, forget it, we'll keep going right now. So, what is it though? I'll come back. So the commentary on the decision says, furthest one to see the great man again. No. Okay, so now we're going to the second place. 9 in the second place and everything. All right, so before that, 6 is the weak and the very bottom of this. Okay, so it means it's a break in the line. It's a yin line basically, because yang is a solid line. So therefore, although there is a brief altercation with the neighboring 9, or you can say masculine, and that could be the masculine with inside of a feminine person, or vice versa. Okay? And which comes without, and the conflict cannot continue. The place and the character of the line are too weak. Since the nuclear trigram Li, which is the clinging fire again, standing above it, has clarity. So even Lee, being the clinging fire, has some clarity right now. Right? She's not going to be clinging. It's feminine. The reason why I'm saying she, because Lee is in the feminine form right here. And again, each of us have masculine and feminine inside of us, so everybody has a Lee. All right? So, as clarity and its attribute, everything is finally decided justly. And you have to have a clinging fire because some people won't be afraid until you burn their fucking ass. You say, look, I can't have it. And that's what I'm talking about. Remember I said the flying serpents? It's going to turn into flying dragons? That's what I'm talking about. Now we're going ahead and use Lee in the flying dragon side with a purifying fucking fire. Get the fuck back. All right? So it has clarity and its attribute. Everything is finally decided justly. And a fortunate thing in a conflict. As the six changes, it arises trigram. I used to work with Tweet. All right, she's a singer from Vietnam and shit too. But anyway, Tweet in this case right here means speech, as we're sitting up here talking about it right now. All right, so 9 in the second place. One cannot engage in conflict. Semicolon. Pay attention to the punctuation. That's a copy paste in, but it was needed right here because of the flow of the whole. The second place right here. So, one returns home, gives away. The people of this town, 300 households, remain free of guilt. Because what? Because one returns home. So if we come back to our senses and shit, then 300 souls within that household is going to be free of guilt. The second portion of that. One cannot engage in conflict. One returns home, gives way. Thus, one escapes. So again, that's simply let's turn back around right now. All right. So to contend from a lowly place with someone above brings self-incurred suffering. Like I just said a second ago, either you're gonna go ahead and with Uranus, that's what it was. The other planet was Uranus. So either you're gonna go ahead and move your ass, Uranus, or somebody else is going to move your ass out the way right now. Okay? And because this is simply the sun. So the next one is one cannot engage in the conflict. Although this is a hard line in the middle of the trigram of the abysmal, the intention is to contend with the 9 in the fifth place. The fifth place is that of the ruler. Okay? And is inherently present. This second line being that the second line is that of the household, and in both places, in all three places, the fifth place, the fourth place, and the second place, the second place generally is given to the female, but all is interchangeable. All is interchangeable. It's going to be to the balanced one. All right, as we see in our politics today. Okay, so, and we see the fucked up women is in power too. Just like we see the fucked up dudes is in power right now. All right, so it's still gonna be within generations that the old generation, like we said, you know, like the OG I said, I found out that he was actually 72 years old. You know, because of the Kali Yuga we just went through, you know, every 72 years the earth itself regresses. So then that's the body itself. But then if we're not taking care of our mental and still even getting rejuvenation from the youth, sharing with the youth, listening to you, because just because people got gray hair and shit don't mean they fucking know shit. There's some old ass motherfuckers that don't know shit with gray hair, and it's the same ones that don't want shit to change either. So you can learn from a youngster that is 6 years old, you know. So. Because we're basically taking care of, we come back again. You know, this Beethoven's, you know, or whoever, everybody at a young age and everything, they say, wow, it's fucking brilliant. It's just reincarnated in for the fucking time that we're in right now. So Don't get stuck on your whatever you built up right now to think that you can't change it or it's going to be, you know, such a detriment to you for fucking to lose face if you do not return back to you. Okay, so 63rd place, it says to nourish one. I was just saying it, fucking A. It says 63rd place, to nourish oneself on ancient virtue induces perseverance. I didn't even get to it. I just spewed it out and fucking right there. All right. So danger. In the end, good fortune comes. If by chance you are in the service of a king, seek not works. So therefore, it's not like you popping your motherfucking collar because you got whatever. You got your business. You got this. You got promotion. You know, like Linda. You know, and she sucked and fucked to get hers, just like a lot of people on this YouTube shit. You know, or in all these workplaces, they do whatever, go ahead and do it, or it's part of the whole clique. You know, simple as that. Of Isaiah 55, come over and eat for fucking free. Okay, come over and eat for free? Get the fuck out of here. You didn't think you were gonna have to fucking pay the bill? Get the fuck out of here. Especially, and it's not your lamb, get the fuck out of here. Alright, so seek not works, danger. So to nourish oneself on ancient virtue is to obey the one above that brings good fortune. And I'm gonna cut it right there because I gotta get off. But we're gonna pick up here in a second again. But I had to get that one because I gotta do some other stuff a little bit later, right? Be peaceful, multiply, and we'll talk to you soon.